Hi everyone, this is Babaiah, Assistant Professor of EC Department from the MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Today I am going to explain about classification of control systems. Today my topic is classification of control systems. Previously already we discussed about the what is mean by control system and what is mean by system. The basic types of systems, all these are learned for the previous session only. For today, we are going to learn about what are the classification of control systems. Let us move on to the overview. Here observe the one is simple block diagram of control system. The classification of control systems, open loop and closed loop control systems. All these are now we are going to learn. Let us move on to the simple block diagram of control system. Here I am going to draw the simple block diagram. Just you are observe. This one is my system or else control system. Here I am going to apply the my input signal is given to the control system and I am getting the one output signal. This is the simple block diagram of control system. We are called as input name, we have called it as in more another names we called as one is reference signal or input signal and this output also having the some names: command signal, controlled variable or response signal or output, controlled output. All these are the names of the output signal, and the input signal is reference signal or input signal or command signal or excitation signal. These are the names of input signal and output signal. This is the basic block diagram of the control system. Here the best example of the control system is traffic light signal. When we are giving the sequence of input signal to the traffic lights, according to that one signal, out of the three signals, one signal is on and remaining all off condition. That is the based on the perform time slots, traffic lights time slots, it will activate and on and off positions are occurred based on the traffic time slots. Next, coming to the examples of control systems. Here we discuss traffic lights control systems and washing machine and room water heater. All these are the examples of the control systems or else open loop control systems. Here coming to the door lock system, this is also one of the example of the control system, and switch, our just switch in our home or else anywhere switch is there, that switch also act as a control system. And refrigerator also one of the example of control system, and electric lift also one of the example of control system, and here air conditioner also one of the example of control system, and student teaching learning process. By we are going to control the remote air condition going to control by using our remote. Here student teacher learning process, what we are explain to the students, the students all learn from the teacher and finally they will get the output. That is the student teacher learning process. This one also example of the control system. And the coming to the classification of control systems, mostly the control systems are basically divided into the some of the based on parameters. One is coming to the type of the signal, means here based on the type of input signal we have to classify into that. Based on the type of signal is two types, continuous time signals and discrete time signals. And here based on the inputs and outputs, again control systems are classified based on the inputs and outputs. The two types of systems are there. One is the single input and single output system, and multi input and multiple output system. And coming to third one is based on the feedback path. Based on the feedback path, the control systems are again classified into the two categories. One is the open loop control system and second one is the closed loop control system. Now we are going to learn one by one. Here based on the signal, based on the signal here, based on the input signal, one is the continuous signal, or continuous control system, continuous time control system. And second one is the discrete time control system, CS, discrete time control systems. Continuous time control system means whenever all the signals are varied with the time, all the signals are varied in the with respect to the time, that is the continuous time signals. Discrete time means here one or more signals are discreted. Coming to the discrete time, one or more existed signals are discreted in the form of time. That is the discrete time control system and continuous time control system. And coming to the based on the inputs and outputs, based on the inputs and outputs, again the control systems classified into two categories. One is the single input and single output system, and second one is the multiple input and multiple output system. Here single input single output system means it has only one input and only one output. The type of systems are comes under the single input and single output systems. And coming to the multiple input and multiple output systems, here the system has one or more and more than one input signals and more than one outputs are available. That systems are considered as the multiple input and multiple output systems. More than one outputs and inputs, more than one inputs and outputs. The types of systems are called as multiple input and multiple output systems. Next, coming to the third one is based on the feedback. The control systems are again based on the feedback. The control systems are classified into the one is the open loop system or open loop control system, and the second one is the closed loop control systems. Now coming to the open loop control system, here observe, this is our basic open loop control system block diagram. Here the input signal is applied to the controller. After the controller is produces the controlling signal or else activating signal. This controller is produces activating signal or else error control signal, activating signal or control signal. That control signal or activating signal as input, as applied the input to the plant. This activating signal controls the plant. Activating signal is control the plant. This plant, another name also process. plant or process or system. Okay, the plant after finally it produces the output. The simple open loop control system. What is mean by open loop control system means, in the sense, the output quantity, this output quantity has no effect upon the input quantity, because of there is no feedback between the input and output. So that's why the output quantity has no effect upon the input quantity. The type of systems are called as the open loop control systems. Whenever they given the input signal to the controller, that controller is produces an activating signal or control signal. That control signal or activating signal is input to the plant. The plant is controlled by the activating signal. Finally, the plant is produces an output. Whatever the given input signal, we will get the output simply. The type of systems are called as the open loop control system. But whenever we are getting the errors in output, we are not going to correct the errors by automatically, because of there is no feedback between the input and output. But in manually we are going to vary the input, we are going to vary the output also, and manually we are going to set the errors on the output by varying our input. But not automatically is possible, but manually it will be possible. The type of systems are open loop control systems. Here, coming to the closed loop control system. For example, open loop control system examples are there. Switch is one of the example, and room heater. Room heater also one of the open loop control system. Here, whenever on the switch in the room heater, it will water will be going to heat. But whenever we are going to turn off the switch, we have don't idea about that. So that's why when we want to stop the switch, we are going to see the water is heated or not. After that only we switch off that. So that is the process. So there is no feedback, is automatically it is not off. So that's why this is comes under the open loop control system. And also one more is traffic lights control system, also best example for the open loop control system. Next, coming to the closed loop control system. Here observe that closed loop control system means whenever the output quantity has an effect upon the input quantity has, the type of systems are called as the closed loop control systems. Closed loop control system means the output quantity has an effect upon the input quantity in order to maintain the desired output values. The type of systems are called as the closed loop control system simply. And next here, and one more name of for control systems. Here automatically control system. This is the another name for the automatically controlled system. The another name for closed loop control system is automatically controlled system. Here, coming to this block diagram, whenever apply the input signal to the error detector, this error detector is produces an error signal. The input signal is directly given to the controller. The controller is produces an activating signal. This activating signal is input or apply activating signal or control signal is applied to the plant as an input. This plant is controlled by the control signal or else activating signal. Finally, we got the output. In that output, again it will be some feedback elements. Through the feedback element, the output will be given to as the input. That is the error detector. Here, the error detector produces the error signal. Error signal means the difference between the input signal and the feedback signal is known as the error signal. The error signal is produced by the error detector. The error signal is defined as the differences between the input signal and the feedback signal. This feedback signal is came from the feedback elements. that feedback signal is given as an input to the closed loop control system. Again, this process is going until the errors are going to rectified or modified or automatically controlled. Here this type of systems are called as the closed loop control systems. Here observe, direct input signal is applied to the controller and controller is produces activating signal. After that, output is again given to the input. Here feedback is available between the output and input. Between the output and input, the feedback will be is available. So this type of systems are called as the closed loop control systems. In the output, what we are getting the errors, that errors again that output is given as a input again. So automatically this will be is controlled by using the controller. We will get the controlled output signal. Finally we get the accurate output. This is the process until we get the accurate outputs by using the closed loop control systems. The closed loop control system are called as automatically controlled system. That's why we call it as the automatically controlled system. If you are getting any errors in closed loop control system, again that errors automatically controlled by using that closed loop control system, means the output, what we are getting the error output, that will be again the part of the output again given to the input, and that input again given to the controller and produces the controlling signal again planned, and finally we get the accurate output. This process is known as automatically. So that's why this type of systems are automatically controlled systems, are closed loop control systems. Here coming to the some of the examples of closed loop control system. For example, traffic lights control system we consider as traffic lights control systems. Sometimes in a particular junction, in 4 ways, one way is heavy traffic is occur or heavy traffic is there, the sensor of the traffic lights that will be considered as the based on the traffic density, the output will be on or off based on the traffic density at the particular traffic signal. Means here for example in 4 ways, in 4 ways only one way is heavy traffic is there. So at that time we want to release that heavy traffic way. So that condition, the closed loop control system automatically it considers as the traffic density, and that output is given as input to the system, that will be again on the traffic light signal which line is having the heavy traffic. In that condition it release the vehicles, that signal is on, the remaining all 3 are the off condition. That is the process, or that is the working process by using the closed loop control system at a particular traffic junction or traffic signal. That's why we call it as the automatically controlled system. And also automatically controlled AC is there, air conditioner is there. What we require to input or temperature, we want to decrease the temperature. At that time we are going to use the remote controller to what we require, that will be is going to temperature. That one is the open loop control system. But here closed loop control system, refrigerator is there. That one is the closed loop control system best example. Refrigerator, traffic light signal, and student teacher learning process, all these are the closed loop control system examples. For open loop control system, switch, room heater, AC, washing machine, all these are the open loop control system. And here we learn what is the system and types of the system based on the input signal and based on the feedback and based on the inputs and outputs, number of inputs and outputs. That are the classification of the control system. And main very important of classification of control system is the based on the feedback control system. The feedback is available between the input and output. The type of systems are the closed loop control system. If the there is no feedback is available between input to output, means the output has no effect upon the input quantity. The type of systems are called as the open loop control systems. Here we observe open loop control system, closed loop control system, some of the examples of open loop and closed loop control systems, and some of the examples of systems, and here some of the classifications of systems based on the input signal and based on the number of systems or number of inputs and outputs. This is the this is our output, or this is we are learn from this session. Okay, here just this is the I am going to conclude all this. Once again, just observe the simple block diagram of control system we learn, and classification of control systems also we learn from that, and open loop, closed loop control systems, the block diagram and the example, and what is the function of open loop control system and closed loop control system. All these are learned from this session, today's session. Okay, thank you everyone.